Arteta really believes he's a top player. Romano confirms Arsenal calling over a potential transfer move for exciting transfer. Arsenal have been calling over a potential transfer move for Crystal Palace centre-back Marc Guehi, according to Fabrizio Romano. The England international is also a target for Manchester City, but it seems he's taking his time over making a decision on his future. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Romano explained the latest on the Guehi situation as he made it clear that Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta is a big fan of the 25-year-old. However, it sounds like Arsenal's efforts to sign Guehi are with the view to signing him in the summer rather than now, whereas City will surely try to get him in as soon as possible to cover for injured defensive duo Ruben Diaz and Josko Gvardiol. What Fabrizio Romano has said about Arsenal's interest in signing Marc Guehi. Providing an update on the Guehi saga, Romano said, "City are really convinced they can reach an agreement with Palace, but it's the player who has to decide, and Marc Guehi is taking his time with his family, with his agents, considering all the opportunities because Arsenal have been calling over a potential deal in the summer. Arteta is a big fan of the player. This is why Arsenal are interested. Mikel Arteta really believes he's a top player, but Arsenal also have many players in that position, and so that's a point. Then there is general interest from Liverpool. They had a deal agreed last summer. Liverpool remain absolutely interested in Marc Guehi, and so it's going to be one to watch for sure." How do Arsenal find space for Marc Guehi? Arsenal already have so many top defenders, it's hard to see how Guehi would fit into Arteta's squad. City or Liverpool would surely be able to make Guehi more of a key player, whereas Arsenal already have a top first-choice centre-back pairing in William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, as well as really good depth from the likes of Piero Hincapié, Ricardo Calafiori, and Christian Mosquera. AFC legend Sol Campbell has supported the move, though, telling Sky Bet, "Marc Guehi at Crystal Palace is a top player. I know Liverpool are sniffing around him. That's someone I would inquire about." Arsenal have their own Guehi, and he's the best CB Hale End has produced. It's hardly controversial to claim that Arsenal boast the strongest defense in the Premier League. The Gunners' ironclad backline have formed the bedrock of Mikel Arteta's title-challenging outfit, runners-up 3 years in a row. This season feels different, though, and Arsenal have climbed 6 points free of Manchester City and Aston Villa behind them after the term's midpoint, with a hunger and squad depth that hasn't quite been matched by their divisional rivals. Arteta hankers for more, and understandably so. The London club's injury list is starting to stretch, and a spate of fitness setbacks hamstrung Arsenal in their title chase last year. Perhaps that's why the likes of David Ornstein have confirmed Arsenal are interested in signing Crystal Palace captain Marc Guehi. Why Arsenal want Marc Guehi? Manchester City and Liverpool have been the clear frontrunners in the race for Guehi, 25, who is set to leave Palace on a free transfer this summer or depart for a fee this month. But Arsenal have now registered their interest, with The Athletic confirming technical director Andrea Berta has been in contact with the players' representatives after the Emirates side's bag full of injuries. However, any deal would likely be struck during the summer, and by then the storm should have passed. While the Three Lions talent would be a brilliant addition, is it the most pressing need given the strength of Arteta's first-choice options? Chelsea know a thing or two about letting top talents leave prematurely. Guehi, after all, left Stamford Bridge to Palace in 2021. With this in mind, and the fact Arsenal boast 2 of the finest centre-halves in the world in Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba, Arteta might feel that missing out on Guehi wouldn't be the be-all and end-all, given the caliber of academy prospect waiting to break through. Arsenal already have a homegrown Guehi. Arsenal's Hale End Academy is one of the strongest and most prolific throughout Europe. Bukayo Saka, who has just signed a 5-year contract at the club, is the poster boy, but he is trailed by Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, and Max Dowman in North London, among others. Now, Marley Salmon could be the next in line, having gone from strength to strength as Arsenal's star defensive prospect in the academy scene.
The 16-year-old came off the bench during the club's 3-0 win over Club Brugge in the Champions League, and he has been an unused substitute across 2 Premier League matches. It's worth noting that Salmon is very young and still has so much development to go through. Even so, his quality is indisputable, and there's every chance that he could grow into a defender every bit as talented and lauded as his much older compatriot Guehi. He keeps good company with that one. Salmon, in fact, has already been singled out for the amazing progress he has made while training and learning with the first team by club captain Martin Odegaard, who knows a thing or two about development as a precocious teenager. He's already been given a number of opportunities to impress during preseason, and he took them. Now, Salmon is but a step away from gripping onto a seat in Arteta's senior setup and beginning to demonstrate his talent on the major stage. Hailed by analyst and scout Ben Mattinson as being the best CB Hale End has produced, it's safe to say Salmon has the world at his feet, and his emergence might just preclude what could become a messy and taxing battle for England's current defensive star. Arsenal may well have an even better one. Arsenal have perfect Piero Hincapié replacement after latest Mikel Arteta injury blow. Arsenal suffer fresh injury blow, but Mikel Arteta has a number of options to call upon. Mikel Arteta's defensive issues at Arsenal continue. The Gunners have endured a number of problems regarding the backline, with several starting stars missing games. William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Christian Mosquera, Ricardo Calafiori, Jurrien Timber, Ben White, and Piero Hincapié have all been absent through injury at some stage this campaign. Mosquera and Calafiori are currently in the treatment room and look to be joined by Hincapié after the 24-year-old was forced off against Liverpool on Thursday. The defender whom the Gunners signed on loan from Bayer Leverkusen in the summer was replaced by Miles Lewis-Skelly shortly before the hour mark. The Ecuadorian was spotted holding the back of his right leg before hitting the deck and is set to undergo scans amid fears he has suffered a potential hamstring injury. It's believed Hincapié felt tightness in the area during the second half, and following consultation with Arteta, he eventually went to ground so that he could receive treatment. It's understood there is some concern that Hincapié had to complete a sprint after he had first initially felt tightness. Hincapié has completed Saliba's last 10 Premier League matches, and the hope is that he is not ruled out for a prolonged period. The Gunners face Portsmouth in the FA Cup on Sunday before raking on Chelsea in the Carabao Cup semi-final on Wednesday. Arteta's side then travel to Nottingham Forest on January 17th, Inter Milan on January 20th, and then entertain Manchester United on January 25th. If Hincapié forced to miss some of the aforementioned games, Arteta could call upon Lewis-Skelly. The 19-year-old has not been afforded as many minutes this season after a breakout 2024 campaign, but has shown he is more than able to perform at left back. The Hale Ender did look rusty against Liverpool, however, and may need time to get back up to speed. Another option Arteta will soon have is Calafiori. The Italian sustained a very awkward injury in the build-up to the visit of Brighton on December 27th, but ahead of the match against Liverpool, Arteta said he and Mosquera were very close to returning. "They're out again," he said at his pre-match press conference. "I think pretty soon they will be returning. They have to go through the last stage of the rehab, and if everything goes well, hopefully soon they will be available for selection." So, despite Hincapié picking up a fresh injury, Arteta does have Lewis-Skelly as a potential replacement to play at left back, as well as the returning Calafiori. Of course, it is also possible that Jurrien Timber shifts over to left back, with Ben White coming in on the right. Arsenal lineups versus Portsmouth decided as Ethan Nwaneri call made amid 9 changes. Football.London reporters have their stab at predicting Mikel Arteta's Arsenal starting 11 for the FA Cup third-round trip to Portsmouth on Sunday, 2 p.m. 14-time FA Cup winners Arsenal are looking to lift the trophy for the first time in 2020 when they begin their campaign at Portsmouth in the third round on Sunday. Mikel Arteta's side is bidding to get back to winning ways following Thursday's frustrating 0-0 draw with Liverpool. Piero Hincapié could well miss the contest due to injury, while the match is also expected to come too soon for Ricardo Calafiori and Christian Mosquera. All change, please. The result against Liverpool was not ideal and certainly a missed opportunity, but the weekend's trip to Portsmouth allows for fresh legs and new ideas. The most in focus will be a chance for a start for Gabriel Jesus to see what he can bring to the team. It's less about the player and more about the profile, as the target man Victor Gyökeres simply isn't bringing what Arteta's side needs. Kai Havertz could also make his return, but would be a surprise starter, and is more likely instead to come off the bench. Miles Lewis-Skelly needs a big game here after a dismal cameo against the Reds, while Eberechi Eze gets his first start since the League Cup quarter-final win over Crystal Palace before Christmas. Martinelli might well have started this game, but with Nwaneri and Eze needing minutes, and the incident involving Connor Bradley bringing the Brazilian into some unwanted focus, it might be even with Leandro Trossard resting the bench. The 24-year-old holds the bench for this one.